It's an honor to say a special word on behalf of Ellie MERRILL as she receives the Woodrow Wilson Award for Corporate Citizenship. I'm a great fan of Ellie's and have been for a very long time. Our friendship goes back to the time when the Merrills hired Lynn to write for the Washingtonian magazine. And I was privileged to work with Phil MERRILL when he held a series of important jobs in government at the Pentagon, at NATO, and at the Ex-Im Bank. The MERRILL name is universally respected and admired, and Lynn and I have been proud to count this family among our great friends. Ellie is a person of uncommon grace, intelligence, and good humor. She's a dynamic and successful businesswoman, personally responsible for the success of her family's enterprises over the years. She's also a woman of great compassion, and with her generosity and public spirit, she has made life better for a lot of people. The award that Ellie receives tonight is a fitting tribute to one of the great ladies of our time. And I want to say to Ellie that even though we couldn't be there in person, Lynn and I are delighted you're receiving this honor. We can't think of a person who deserves it more. We're very happy for you, and we know that Phil would be mighty proud of you tonight, too. Our warmest thoughts are with you and with your whole family. Congratulations. Have a wonderful evening.
Journalist, publicist, philanthropist. Despite the many roles Ellie MERRILL has played over the course of her rich, rewarding life, she's always remained true to herself.
If I had to pick a word to describe my mother, I just think I would pick the word genuine. You get what you see. She's just a very, very genuine person.
She's seen the world. She's met lots of important people. She's been to the White House, good friends with the Cheneys and all of that. But Ellie is very down to earth and is still kind of that small town girl from Scranton, PA.
Our story begins in the 1940s in a blue-collar apartment above a neighborhood bar.
Her father ran a little bar. They didn't have a lot of money.
It was a wonderful place to grow up. It's a very ethnic community, and at a fairly early age I could swear in quite a few languages, all of which I've forgotten. I would sometimes wish that had stuck with me.
Education of a more formal sort, however, would play a pivotal role in Ellie's future.
My mother was the first person in her family ever to go to college. Her brother, sister, parents, nobody went. It wasn't really an idea. She had a teacher who inspired her and really planted the idea in her head.
Sophomore year, you had to decide whether you were going to Scranton Central for college preparatory or Scranton Tech for vocational training, basically. And so I filled out my papers to go to Scranton Tech, and my counselor called me in and she said, "What do you mean you're going to Scranton Tech? Don't you want to go to college?"
Ellie went on to work her way through Dickinson College.
In summers, I worked assembly line at potato chip factory. I worked an assembly line in a book bindery.
And upon graduating from Dickinson in 1954, she was ready to take on the world.
When I was growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew where I wanted to do it. It was always New York City.
She had a series of jobs making her way, but really found herself working on Broadway. She worked with some of the real great Broadway stars, Ethel Merman, Carol Channing. She did PR for them.
It was Broadway's golden age, and Ellie worked with the best.
She was there for a Time Life shoot with Rodgers and Hammerstein, and they're at a piano, and the shoot's delayed, and Rodgers is at the piano, and he's just sort of playing around, and he starts to go, doot, 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 and Hammerstein's like, go with that, go with that. And they wrote, "You are 16 going on 17 there in front of my mom.
And it was in New York, while working with a famed duo, that Ellie launched her own longtime collaboration with Philip MERRILL.
We were both dragged to a cocktail party, and we met, and Phil was talking to me at night about his sailboat, and I was envisioning a yacht. And I went home and told my roommates, as you always did, you know, what went on. And I said, I met this guy. I said, I'm pretty sure he's going to call up and ask me out, but I'm not going to go. And I had told her about the conversation. She's not going to go. You have to go. I said, what do you mean I have to go? She said, remember the yacht. Summer is coming. We need the yacht we have to go out on. Well, the yacht turned out to be a 15-foot snipe, which capsized the first time I was on it.
Undeterred by the ducking, Ellie and Phil married in 1960. In 1961, Philip Merrill took a job at the State Department, and Ellie said goodbye to Broadway.
She came to Washington with my father and worked in the State Department, sort of using her PR background doing legislative affairs for the State Department. She was the liaison between the state and the Hill.
Ellie also worked on the Hill as a Senate staffer, started a family, and fell in love with the second big city she's called home.
She really cares about the city. You know, she cares about the arts, she cares about health care, she cares about schools.
It's a commitment that led to Ellie and Phil's next venture.
Phil and Ellie bought the magazine in 1979 and made it, I think, the best city magazine in the country.
While in the process, making Washington a much more vibrant city.
For Phil and Ellie, it was never about making money. It was always to make the magazine better and to make the city better.
Her use of the magazine to really promote the city in a good and healthy and cultural way. It's a huge part of the community.
The Washingtonian, however, was only part of a local media empire that included a network of weekly newspapers in the Washington region.
I mean, she spent a fair amount of time working at the newspapers while my father was working in the government.
Ellie did more than just work at the papers, however. She played a crucial role in both building the business and making the Washingtonian what it is today.
3 times, Ellie became the publisher.
And during those times, she actually took over and ran our family media business. And it did very well under her leadership.
Ellie's leadership, however, hasn't been limited to the publishing world. As a team, Ellie and Philip Merrill established a strong tradition of corporate citizenship.
Both of my parents really strongly believed in giving back.
Ellie has long supported public service and commitment to society.
And their commitment over the years has served the Washington region well.
They've given tremendous supports to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation and the environment of Maryland.
Ellie has also excelled at bringing her passion for theater to the nation's capital.
She's involved in the Shakespeare Theater, the Ford's Theater, the Kennedy Center, National Theater.
Ellie has always not only been supportive in not only her presence at the board meetings, but also, of course, bringing the resources of the magazine.
But Ellie Merrill's main focus has always been education.
One of the things she did when she was running the newspapers was start a scholarship program for local students. And I think we do 20 scholarships a year so that disadvantaged students have a chance to get a good education. She really sees that as the key to the American dream and living the American dream, which is basically her story.
Ellie and her family have been extraordinarily generous to the University of Maryland. Not only have they funded journalism and the Philip Merrill College of Journalism from a very long time. In fact, Ellie was a founding member of the Board of Visitors of the college and has served it extensively. But also, they funded the Presidential Scholars Program at Maryland as well.
We have a very large educational program. We have a series of programs in both the junior high and the high schools in the district, things that have been very close to Ellie's heart.
I think Ellie's greatest passion is children. Seeing her with her grandchildren, seeing her with her children. She lights up when we talk about people who are doing good things with kids.
Just as Ellie's own family lights up when they talk about her.
From the day she was born, the hour she was born, I loved her. I've got tears in my eyes. what to say.
Now that I'm a mother, when I'm with my children and I try to balance fun and exposing them to a variety of activities, but also making sure, quite candidly, that they don't grow up to be spoiled brats, I really see my mother in myself.
She did serve as a very important role model for me. The ability for her to be a mom, to also be an executive.
She spends a lot of time trying to be there to kind of support us and to understand where we're going in our lives and to help us where she can.
The advice I always gave my children is, if anybody wants anything extra done, do it. Don't just, do what you have to do. Do more after, and people will notice that and appreciate it.
More than mere advice, it's the rule that Ellie Merrill has lived by.
Ellie is one of the people who made such a difference in Washington.
A true citizen of the world. She's a perfect candidate to receive this citizenship award.
Ellie, I love you and congratulations.
Congratulations, Mom. We love you.
Today, after weathering the loss of her husband,
He's always calling me, Ellie, you have to see this sunset. You have to see this sunset. And so now when I look at the beautiful sunset, I say, hi, Phil. and it reminds me of him.
Ellie has ensured that the Merrill legacy will live on and can now look back on an extraordinary life filled with lasting achievements.
I've always loved every part of my life. I've been so fortunate. I had wonderful parents and a wonderful childhood. I loved my jobs. I was very fortunate. I've been very fortunate all along the way.